Hello cellists, this is your practice guide video lesson for Hamilton's My Shot measures 17 through 37. I'm going to start at measure 21 and end at 37. Practicing, you should break these practice guide sections into smaller chunks. So let's take a look at my music for a second. Our first section is measure 21 and 22. You're going to be concentrating on articulation, making sure that that line and dot, the legato and staccato, are really exaggerated, long and short. Next section begins at measure 23. This is pizzicato. This is your opportunity to write in any fingering numbers that you'd like into your parts. Please have your parts handy and write in these fingering numbers. This tells you when to shift into the new position. Prepare your hand at the elbow for each shift during the rest. Last section, third and final section, begins at measure 29. Notice it's arco. Write in any fingering numbers. We're going to be staying close to the frog during this section. And finishes up here. Fingering numbers, and notice the different articulations at the end with the dot, staccato dots. And those are short. So for this first chunk, starting at measure 21, we have a long, short bow stroke, and that's going to happen in the middle of the bow. I'm going to demonstrate that. Notice this in the middle of the bow, and I have a long stroke in the string and a short one that leaves the string. And when you leave the string, you don't move your arm up, but rather you use the twisting motion in your arm to lift the bow, just like this. So I'm going to do it slowly again. And at speed, it sounds like this. Short dots are the lifted notes. So for the second section, which starts at measure 23, it's all pizzicato, and you have shifts during the rests. Prepare those shifts as you would during arco sections with that circular elbow preparation in your left hand, in your left arm, and always think ahead about a beat before the shift. So I'm going to play for measure 23. And there are a few exchanging shifts. So you're playing the same note before the shift as you did after the shift, but with a different finger. So you have to use your ear, especially on those, so that you're matching the exact same note that you were playing before the shift. Now in the third section that starts at measure 29, you're going to be playing almost entirely at the frog, the lower half of your bow. The only time that you leave that part of your bow is going to be in measure 31, and that's the dotted quarter note section. You should be using almost entirely the full bow on that section. Those two notes should be using about 3/4 the full amount of bow. Everything else will be using about this much bow, and you'll be staying right around here, closer to the frog. Lots of retakes here, and they almost always happen with a rest in between them. so you have some time to retake the bow. Make sure that that note before, that your retake happens quickly and your bow is on the string before you play, so there's no air attacks. So measure 29, this is for measure 29. Notice at the very end I kept my bow close to the string when I finished. I didn't relax and put it off to the side. The reason for that is that when we go on to measure 37 for the performance and all of the practice sessions, you'll have your bow ready and prepared to go on. We want to prepare our bodies when we practice for the full performance, as our bodies would be playing this if we were to keep on going. So add in that preparation when you're practicing, so that when we go on at measure 37, you'll have your body all ready to go and you won't have to make any other adjustments. When you're practicing at home, practice each section individually and then put them together. And at the end of the section, you should be able to play all the way through, because during rehearsal, that's the section we're going to be working on with the full ensemble. But when you're practicing by yourself, break it down into those smaller sections and work on the skills that each section requires before putting them together. If you have any questions, write them in the comments below the video and I'll answer those before the next rehearsal. Happy practicing, and I'll see you in rehearsal. Thanks so much.